Hey, what's up, guys? What's up? So, in this video, we're going to look at the facts and some of the overwhelming allegations and evidence against Brother Polight. So, it's no secret that, he's been accused of several things, and this story was broke by Tasha K. And pretty much everything that Tasha K has said on her, report basically is on point, right? So, but one of the things that she didn't do is that she didn't give you the facts, right? And she didn't give you the actual document and the details in the document. She gave it to you, but you didn't get a chance to see, the police report in your own eyes, right? So in this video, we're going to look at, some exclusive content, which is going to be the actual police report and maybe a few other documents as it pertains to those charges against him. Now, of course, we're going to look at some of the allegations against Brother Polight. And these allegations are just that, allegations, but it is a fact that there's several people out there who is complaining about Brother Polight. Now, whether or not their allegations are true or false, that's a totally different story. That's not factual, but it is a fact that there's several people complaining about Brother Polight. And so we're going to look at that. We're going to look at the complaints, and we're going to look at the actual police report. Now, to my knowledge, no one else has the actual police report, so the police report is going to be exclusive information or exclusive content from that perspective. Tasha K probably had the police report. However, she didn't let you see the police report with your own eyes, right? And he's looking at some pretty serious time when it pertains to, these charges. Now, we're going to look at all that, but I just want to point out that nothing in this video is actually going to be new. All of the information that's going to be given to you is already floating out there on the internet. The only information that is exclusive is going to be, the documents that I'm going to show you. And I'll let you know when we get to those documents. And it's going to basically be exclusive information, right? So, with that said, I just want to let you know I'm not going to show you anything new, but I'm going to give you a chance to confirm what you already know. And I think there's one video out there where a news station runs through some of these documents, but they don't give you a chance to view those documents with your own eyes. They just kind of glance over them. We're going to look at these documents in great detail. So, with that said, let's just go ahead and get started. Now, if you go to Google and you type in three words, Brother Polight and scam, you're going to see tons of actual hits, and you're going to see people complaining about Brother Polight. Now, whether these allegations are true is not factual, but what is factual is that there are tons of people out there complaining about him. And one such complaint I actually found on Facebook, and it's by this guy named Double Shot Talk, and he goes, "Alert, alert! Be aware, the scam family, the biggest scammers in America. When I say period, I mean city girls. Period. I reached out to this black man, Brother Polight, for mentorship, thinking I'm going to make a great investment in myself. Wrong. I was sadly mistaken. This guy, Brother Polight, is really out there pretending to be an upstanding, righteous integrity, having figured in the community. I'm sorry, he's pretending to be out there, upstanding, righteous integrity, having figured in the community. That's just kind of crazy where that's written. But really, he's only going around scamming people out of their hard-earned money with the help of none other than the scammers. And then he named some other individuals, right? Let's come together and make everyone aware and get this no righteous or integrity having Brother Polight guy and his helping hands out of the community most importantly, the black community, right? So it goes on. So there's tons of articles out there, uh, or complaints out there where people are essentially complaining about Brother Polight. Tons of articles. So with that said, I actually found another, I guess, forum where people are complaining. Now, actually, I actually kind of wanted to defend him in, this one particular blog or forum. And the reason, let me see if I can actually find it. The reason I kind of want to defend him is because when you look at some of the complaints, uh, not this complaint, I don't think. I've heard he's a scam artist. He had a dude giving him bread and, for rental cars and etc. with the idea he would mentor him, but he was just cashing out like a thought. That's that's one complaint, right? Um, but there's one particular complaint that I found, and then another goes, he studied Dr. York heavy. Ain't none of his 90 plus books on Amazon because Amazon makes you put that free trial sneak peek in there so that you can view the first 20 pages, right? Then it goes on. Another person blogging basically said he's hustling knowledge you can learn on your own. In fact, a lot of these dudes are just repackaging and reselling same courses. That's the real hustle. Now, this part I kind of want to defend, right? Because Brother Polight, at some point, he came up with this course on trying to show people how to make money trading, right? So he put this course together, and from what I can see, some people are actually making money. So you purchase the course, and you're basically able to use that information to trade, right? And then another poster goes on. He says, "I'm learning about the strangle now. That's actually a trading technique." And he says he's learning about that on YouTube for free. Should learn the condor and butterfly soon after. These are trading techniques, right? And then he goes on, you don't need to pay anybody. I would think his stuff is legit because anybody could fact check the techniques he's using. They minimize risk in graduating degrees. Uh, and then he goes on, you minimize profit some, though. Everything I got from cats like Polight and Savvy, I got for free. Just straight knowledge. I learned about, black mission figs from Polight. And then it goes on, if you've ever gotten something from him or feel you need to support him, do it. Plenty of knowledge he's given away for free, yo. And then he goes on, I support by speaking up when people talk. I got good knowledge from him. So, there's some people out there that actually feels as if he's done a good job, and then there's people out there saying, well, hey, you can go out and get this information for free. But here's the thing with that. First off, every university out there, every self-help guru out there is doing exactly what Polight is doing. They're actually taking knowledge that already exists, and then they're basically digesting it for you, and then they're serving it up back to you in a way that you can understand. Now, Brother Polight is obviously an urban brother, so when he delivers his material, I want to believe he's delivering it in a way that the average person from the hood could understand. um, and then another person goes, there's nothing new under the sun, and everything he's teaching can be found elsewhere for free. He's just charging you for him doing all the legwork to speak. And I agree with this, right? So nobody, if you're going to complain about Brother Polight, you need to go out there and complain about all those other guys that are on YouTube, who has commercials on YouTube's trying to sell you stock information, right? How to trade. There's actually um, one guy, actually, I forget his name, how to trade options, and I'll put YouTube. But there's this one guy who keeps popping up, and the guy is so annoying. I forget his name though. Um, anyway, that's neither here nor there. Actually, I think this is the guy right here. Um, anyway, it doesn't even matter, right? So that's what YouTube is all about. YouTube is one of the things about YouTube is that, obviously is there for entertainment, but, people will get on YouTube and then they will share, what they learned about, whatever topic on YouTube. In some cases, YouTube will pay them, or in other cases, they'll, put their material in a paid section on YouTube, or they may go to Patreon. So all I'm trying to say is that if you're going to complain about Brother Polight, you need to basically complain about everyone else that's ever written a book on anything, right? Brother Polight also has a store. Let's see, online store. Not that I'm promoting his material, but it's relevant for this conversation, right? Um, where is this store at? Brother Polight Books. So I can't actually find his. I actually. Oh, brotherpolite.com. So when you go to brotherpolite.com, you get all his books and material where he talks about, finance basically and trading stocks. So you have to just respect the brother on, the basic principle, on the general principle that he's going out, he's done some studying, and he's put everything together, and he's selling his material on the internet, just like everybody else in their mom is trying to do, right? So why get mad at him for that, right? However, what you can't ignore, though, right, are the complaints against him. We're going to get into that, but I honestly want to say that Brother Polight is a very complex individual. On one hand, when you listen to him speak and you listen to him, make arguments on YouTube, you'll find that he is a very, very intelligent brother, right? Um, Probably one of the most intelligent people on the internet. I challenge you to show me a more intelligent person, right? Now, intelligence doesn't equal wisdom. Intelligence doesn't equal integrity. Intelligence doesn't equal honesty. You understand where I'm going with this? Although he may be intelligent, he's probably missing some things in the wisdom department and also in the integrity department. So let's get back to that. And there's tons of people on the internet who complain about being scammed by him, right? There's even, I think there's a lady on YouTube who's actually a lawyer who complains that she was scammed by Brother Polight or something of that nature. So when you look at, and by the way, like I said, everyone's on YouTube trying to sell a course, and I can't fault him for that. And I think there's nothing wrong with that. I think there's nothing wrong with repackaging, material. But I think at some point he did this thing where he was offering mentorships, and essentially he was just basically, from my opinion, right, from the information I received on the internet, there's lots of allegations that he was basically scamming people. Now, if you go to this channel called Crypto Roots, you'll find this individual that basically allegedly signed up for one of Brother Polight's mentorship programs. And, obviously, this was like 2 years ago. And this dude has made like several videos about his experience with Brother Polight, right? So, although these are allegations, so he has one, two, three, four video, and these videos are pretty long. There's like, I'd say the entire collection is probably going to be 2 hours long, I would guess, give or take. And although these are allegations, the fact is that you have several people coming out saying, "Hey, this dude scammed me," and the story that this guy puts together is, pretty detailed. Now, I'm going to come out and say that, in my personal opinion, um, he was probably a little bit gullible, but I think it was one of those situations, and he doesn't say this, but it's one of those situations where you invest in something and the thing that you invested in starts to go down, right? Or the value of the thing that you invested in starts to go down. And then instinctively, right? In human nature, we constantly throw money at the situation thinking that it's going to turn around. And that in my opinion, that's a human nature fault, thinking that if we continue to throw money at the situation, the problem will eventually fix itself. So I think there was a little bit of that in there, but I also think the guy was a little gullible. Now, this guy is known by crypto roots, but I was like, so into, this whole story that I did a lot of research, and I found out, that he actually filed a federal lawsuit against Brother Polight. Now, this is the federal lawsuit where Crypto Roots actually attempted to sue Brother Polight, right? So, real name Ryan McConnor, allegedly, right? And he's basically trying to sue Michael Nowak, who is basically Brother Polight, Jessica Casey, and Juliet Smalls. I don't know who these other two individuals are, right? However, I think that his lawsuit was destined to fail for several reasons. And here's the thing: like when you go to state court, a lot of times some jurisdictions some states, they will allow you to file your complaint. They don't care how it looks. They don't well, they do care how the complaint looks, and they do care of what's actually in the complaint. But for example, in Illinois, there's something called no such thing as a bad pleading, meaning that you don't even have to be a lawyer, and you don't even have to, get the form and the function of the pleading correctly. All you need to do is basically tell your story and go into court and file it, right? And then it's up to the opposing party to try to get it dismissed, by filing a motion to dismiss or something of that nature, right? And when he went to sue Brother Polite, he went to federal court, and federal court is going to be much more stricter than the state courts, right? So they will dismiss your complaint in a heartbeat, right? And there's several things wrong with this complaint, right? Um, Several things wrong with it. Basically, he goes, now comes the plaintiff, Ryan McCoy, by and through their attorney complaining of defendants respectfully allege as follow. He doesn't have an attorney because you can tell that no attorney would have filed this. General allegations, he put general allegations, right? And then he goes on, plaintiff Ryan McCoy, plaintiff at all relevant times mentioned herein and currently resides in the county of Los Angeles, state of California, and he is suing under fraudulent and misrepresentations acts, right? So I don't even know if that's a real act, but I'm just going to assume that it is because he put it in there, right? Now I'm just going to assume that, he had enough wherewithal to look that up. But what you really want to do is that you want to put the actual statute. Is this a federal statute or is this a state statute? Where is this statute coming from? Where is this act coming from? Whatever. Then he goes on. Ryan McCoy is informed and believe. That's obviously a misplaced word or a bad word, and based thereon alleges that the defendant is who at all relevant times mentioned herein and currently resides in county of Los Angeles, state of California, and who caused injuries and damages to the plaintiff in this county of Los Angeles, state of California. So he basically, tells uh, the same story that he told in his videos. But here's a problem with this complaint. The basic problem that anyone is going to see that's ever been to court and has had to file a complaint is that you generally want to, the basic form is that you want to have a fact section, right? So there should be a section with the facts, right? And then you want a section with, the allegations, right? Let's see if he has that, right? So he calls it cause of actions. That's the allegations, and you know, um, it's just not put together well, right? So he's suing. Let's see here, fraudulent misrepresentation under civil code. I can't even talk right now. Fraudulent misrepresentation under the code of civil procedure. So this is a federal code, 338, 33 U.S. Code 931, penalty for misrepresentations. So he's probably using the wrong statute, because in a civil case, if one individual is suing another, there's no penalties, right? Basically you're trying to basically use a statute to sue, or you're trying to use some common law. What's the word? You I'm lost. I'm at a loss for words right now. But you want to use some common law authority. That's it. So whereas where there's a statute, you would use a statute, or if there's a common law authority, you would just use the common law authority. When I say common law authority, for example, you would go and find case law. Case law, that's the word I'm looking for. You would go and find case law, and you would say that fraud is basically material misrepresentation of fact, and to basically prove fraud, you have to prove all these elements. So he should have a fact section of his complaint, and then he should also have a section in his complaint where he makes his allegations or his causes of actions, and then he ties in those causes of actions to his actual facts, right? So he had a lot of problems with this lawsuit, and when you look at if you go and you look at the case number, you pull all the entries for this lawsuit, you essentially see that the court was essentially trying to dismiss his case. And because they were trying to dismiss it, I think at some point he just simply gave up. And he had lots of problems. One of the problems that he didn't actually serve Brother Polight. He could have went ex parte, but there's a way to do that. So long story dull, this is factual. This is one of the individuals who actually tried to go after Brother Polight and hold him civilly liable, for some of the allegations against him. Oh, so he has first cause of action. Let's see. Yeah, first cause of yeah. So this is one of the guys that actually tried to hold him accountable, but for whatever reason, he didn't do his homework. Right? He didn't do his homework. What you would do is that you would go down to the federal law library or to your state law library, and then you would get access to Westlaw. And once you get access to Westlaw, you can basically pull some sample complaints for fraud and misrepresentation. I actually have a video where I talk about that stuff, right? And then you look at the samples and you use it as a template, and then you try to provide what those samples, provides, right? And you try to order it in the way that those samples order, their pleadings for fraud and things of that nature. I mean, of course, you could always hire a lawyer, but it's kind of tough. A lot of times when you're down to your last dollar and you don't have, any money, then, you're left to your own devices to try to get justice on your own. I've actually been in that situation, and that's why I actually created my channel, to basically discuss things like this. Now I do have a video where I review Westlaw, how to use Westlaw. In that video I talk about simple forms, and I talk about simple complaints and stuff like that. I'll try to uh, put that video at the end of this and basically go through it, so that you can, like, if you are interested in how to file a proper complaint, I show you how to pull some complaints in Westlaw, so you can sue somebody, right? So just moving on, it's a fact that there's these people out there that think they've been defrauded by Brother Polight and they want justice. So those people are out there. So it's probably not a surprise. It wouldn't be surprised that those people would be happy to see Brother Polight in his current situation. Now, um, Brother Polight was arrested in Miami Dade, Florida, and this is the exclusive information, right, that I have. And it's not new information, it's just that you get a chance to see the actual lawsuit, right? Now, I'm not going to go through every little detail here. Basically, he's charged with a felony. And when you scroll down, we have the actual story, right? So I'm just going to read this word for word. And if you have any questions, definitely put your questions, comments below. It goes on. It says the defendant Noack, 37, Yo, and victim's mother, uh, Arocho, 31, Yo, were dating for over a year. On February 27th, at approximately 0000 hours, defendant Noack requested Mrs. Arocho to allow him to take the victim TS, 14-year-old Yo, to a after party in order for him to speak to her and mend the relationship between the mother and the daughter. Defendant Noack and the victim TS responded to Club 11. It's kind of funny how they use that word responded, but anyway, victim TS and Noack, or defendant Noack and victim TS, responded to Club 11, and then he gives the address for Club 11. Upon arrival, the club was closed. Defendant Noack and the victim TS responded to his hotel room, right, in order to wait for the new party location. While there in his hotel room, the defendant Noack, it goes on, provided victim TS with numerous alcoholic beverages, in which she consumed. Victim TS stated that the defendant Noack started dancing and touching her inappropriately all over her body, groping her, private parts, inner thighs, and the buttocks area. Furthermore, victim TS stated that the defendant Noack sat on her. It says, and this is kind of confusing. Victim TS stated that the defendant Noack sat her on the bed as he pulled out his private parts, and basically, I'm trying to avoid certain words here, but basically pulled out his tool up and outside his shorts and underwear while he grabbed her head and pushed it towards his tool area, right? And I'm saying tool, but I mean you can see what's here. If you're having problems seeing this document, basically you go to settings and then you want to enlarge it to the largest fonts possible, right? So he pulls out his tool, there's a word, and then he grabs the girl's head and he pushes it towards his tool area, right? And then it goes on. Victim TS lost consciousness and later awoke while the defendant Noack was forcibly trying to make her throw up by pushing his fingers in her mouth and down her throat. Now, this particular report does not mention any narcotics. It just mentions alcohol. Now, Tasha K uh, uh, is alleging that there was some narcotics involved. That's not in his police report. I'm not sure where she's getting that information. But anyway, moving on. Defendant Noack then took the victim, but I kind of believe there could have been narcotics involved, because why would he be trying to make her throw up, right? If it's just alcohol, it's just alcohol. And then it says defendant Noack then took victim TS to her mother's hotel, and it gives the address. We're not going to get into that. Where Mrs. Orocho noticed that the victim TS was severely intoxicated and possibly under the influence of an unknown drug, and victim's TS had severe swelling on victim mouth and lips. Okay, so I was wrong. I stand corrected. That's why we're getting to the facts. So the mother believed that her daughter was under the influence of some drugs. Then it goes on. The defendant Noack told Mrs. Orocho not to call the police because if she did, she could ruin his career. Against his wishes, that's kind of that's probably the lamest defense that you could probably think of. Don't call the police because if you call the police, you're going to destroy me. Motherfucker, I want to destroy you. You just, raped my child, I said the R word. I'm going to have to delete that out. She's probably thinking, motherfucker, I want to destroy you. You just basically assaulted my child, right? And then it goes against his wishes. Mrs. Orocho transported victim TS to Mount Sinai Hospital, where she disclosed a battery. Victim TS was transported to Roxy Baltam MAPE Treatment Center, where all her clothing was collected and a vape kit. I'm saying vape, but you see the word there, right? Was performed and collected. Said evidence was transported to Miami Dade County Forensics Lab, where it was analyzed. On 5/4/21, results from the Miami Dade Forensics Labs were received, where it confirmed that victim TS had a total of 6 stains, right? You can see what type of stains these were. I mean, if you kind of heard what's going on, you already know what type of stains they were, right? But confirmatory stains on her shirt and scarf, right? So basically, long story told, they found um, Brother Polight's, fluids on the alleged victim, right? And then it goes on, a DNA warrant was obtained and served to the defendant Noack on June 8th. And then the DNA sample swab was transported to Miami-Dade Forensics Labs for analysis. On August 10th, 2021, the Miami-Dade Forensics report was received, where it confirmed that the bodily fluid was found on the victim TS clothing matched that of the defendant Noack. On today's date, the defendant Noack reported to the police station to surrender himself and was charged accordingly. Right, and then it goes on to the next page, and actually, I think so. We have the actual charges here, right? And you can see, the charges. It says engage in sexual act with the familiar child, and then it goes sexual battery, right? You can see what it actually says here, right? And then it says contributing to the delinquency of the dependent, and then it says of a child, right? Now the thing of it is that what's important for this is that you can actually see the actual statutes, right? And the reason you want the statutes because you want to see what the actual charges are, right? Now I'm just going to go ahead and save that for another video so I can wrap this up pretty quickly. Both of these two charges are felonies, and each of these charges carry up to 30 years, right? 30 years up to life. 30, you can receive 0, right? Or you can receive up to 30 years, right? The way the statute reads, it says that it wants to basically avoid giving the individual life unless there's a just reason for it, right? And then there's this statute here. I hadn't actually go through that because I stopped at the two 30-year sentencing, for the two felonies. But in the next video, if I actually do a next video, we're going to look at the exact sentencing. But let me just tell you, if he loses and he gets any one of these charges, this dude is going to be looking up looking towards to upwards of 30 years. They could just give him 30 years, right? I don't know what the criteria is, but according to these statutes, they can go up to 30 years. Now, there's obviously going to be a phase called the post conviction proceeding, right? And I talk about that a lot. I'll try to put that at the end of this video. And in that post conviction proceeding, they're going to basically, go through the process of allowing Brother Polight to get a chance to. So, at any rate, I was able to basically look up the statutes, which I'll talk about in another video, and you will see that these two are felonies and each carry a maximum of 30 years. It could possibly be more. If they find that there's reason to give him life, they can give him life at that point. All right, but it's supposed to not exceed 30 years. And then that there's this other misdemeanor, which is 827.04. I didn't look up the time on that one because I was just out of time. So closing up this video, so that is going to be the gist of it. That's it for this video. Let me know what you think. Do you think he can actually beat this? Do you see any? Do you have any? I guess defense strategies you think he can use? Do you think he's guilty? Do you think he should go to jail? Let me know what you think. Leave your comments below. Like, share, and subscribe.